So I'm just going to give you a few more details about the update we heard from New South Wales today. It is now 46 days into Sydney's lockdown, and the state, as we've been mentioning, has recorded this new record peak in the city's second wave. 356 new cases overnight. That was from 95,000 tests, two-thirds of those from West and Southwest Sydney. The Premier was probed as to why the state's worst ever figures haven't prompted her to escalate restrictions, like a curfew, for example, or a ring of steel. She defended her current approach in that news conference, claiming that the contagious Delta strain does mean that some restrictions wouldn't have an effect. Now, despite that, it is clear from the graph the state's current shutdown is failing to curb cases infectious in the community. We've seen 57 people overnight were out and about at work or essential retail, but a record 157 cases are still under investigation. So that means, as Tom was mentioning there, that contact tracers are yet to work through the backlog. The demands on contact tracers in New South Wales are further exemplified by this breakdown here of the new cases that are linked or unlinked. 119 are household contacts, but yet another record amount of today's figures are yet to be either traced or interviewed. That's 209 in total. Now, that trend of unlinked cases from Sydney's second wave is also peaking when you look at the trajectory of tracing from the past 7 days. 1,000 cases have been linked over the past week to a known case or cluster, but 930 others are yet to be traced. So that clearly causes concerns for authorities in terms of trying to stamp out transmission. There are 357 COVID patients currently in hospital. Of those, 38 are in ICU and 28 others are in ICU and also requiring ventilator support. 3 new deaths are linked to Sydney's second wave, and that's taken the overall death toll to 32. 2 men and a woman, all aged in their 80s, are the latest victims, one of those at Liverpool Hospital. There are now 6 deaths in total linked to the Liverpool Hospital, with their infections traced back to a student nurse who had only received the first of 2 jabs. Let's look at the regional areas now that entered lockdown yesterday. The good news for Tamworth and Armidale is that there have been no new cases detected there. The Northern Rivers region, including Byron, is investigating a possible case, but that is still yet to be confirmed. Now, unfortunately, the news isn't as good for Newcastle. 13 new cases there. That does raise doubts, of course, that the Upper Hunter will be able to exit its lockdown on time this Friday. Today, we have also seen the impact of the New South Wales lockdown on business confidence. NAB's Business Confidence Index is now back in negative territory, down 19 points over the month of July. The hit was largely felt by New South Wales, which fell a huge 27 points due to the lockdown. Business conditions fell in all states and across all industries, with the exception of the mining sector. Despite 2 consecutive large falls, conditions remain resilient at around twice their long-run average.